And look at that, 4 o'clock. Broad and Wall in New York City. New York Stock Exchange has just closed. They're ringing the bell, and ding, 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 ding. There it is. Listed stock, APG. No idea what that is. However, I will tell you, rough day. And I don't know where it came from, folks. All day long was kind of playing around unchanged on all the indices. And all of a sudden, about midday or so, just took a tank. Dow ending down 817 points, as you can see right there. NASDAQ 270 points. Very, very late in the day sell-off. I'm still going to look around, see if there's any news that was out. I didn't see anything that was causing that. Gold up another $4 to $38 an ounce. Oil, $61.50. And I will tell you, very interestingly, Bitcoin, let me get your quote right now. Bitcoin now 108,748. It made a new high over $109,000 per Bitcoin. So brand new high for the folks who are following the Bitcoin. I will count myself as one of those. Well, the House is scheduled to vote on one big, beautiful bill on Thursday. And my next guest has a few thoughts on the tax and the border provisions of the bill. She's also introduced the Protect Children's Innocence Act. Here to tell us all about it, Congresswoman from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene. We love having you, MTG. Really, really good to have you. So Trump came and addressed the congressional the Republicans, and he came out very positive, and then there was a Republican who came out a little negative. Where do we stand? I mean, he can lose up to 5. I think 4 is a tie. He loses 5. It sticks around for a while. What do you think?
Well, the president came to the Hill yesterday morning and met with our Republican conference and basically told everybody, time to pass the one big, beautiful bill. Here's the issue. When you have such a big package, and this is a government funding bill, Eric, it's not Doge cuts. I want to be clear with everyone. I wish it was, because I want to vote on those every day. This is a government funding. It funds the Trump administration. It funds the government with President Trump's policies and campaign promises. So it is a funding bill. And I don't like some things in the bill, but I love a lot of things in the bill. And so President Trump said, hey, look, don't mess with Medicaid, get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse, but don't cut Medicaid. And then he also told the SALT guys, it's time for you guys to get on board. So we're ready to move forward, and hopefully we're going to be doing that today.
Yeah, and I believe there's going to be a vote, and you're hoping that it clears the House and then can get over, clears committees and whatnot, and get to the full vote, and then on to the Senate. And the Senate says they got a lot of things that they want to play around with. They want to maybe make some allotments for some of the spending that's in the bill. The SALT thing, we had Tim Burchett from Tennessee on yesterday, and he said that there's states like Tennessee and Florida with no state income tax. They're concerned that the voters from those states will be picking up the tab for some of the garbage that's in it that they don't want. Meanwhile, people in New York might be able to defray some of their costs. Does SALT come out?
SALT is one of the things that I don't like in the bill that is staying in, and I fully agree with my colleague Tim Burchett. He serves on my DOGE subcommittee on oversight. Look, here's the deal. If you live in Florida or Tennessee, you have no state income taxes. So you're not going to be excited about rich people in New York, Democrats, getting to write off $40,000 of state and local taxes when they're making up to $750,000 a year. But this was one of the things that the SALT caucus, the guys from New York, have fought for. There were no votes on the one big beautiful bill, and this was a deal that was made. I was not in the room and not in favor of it, but the president is asking me to support his bill, support the one big beautiful bill. He has my support as always, because there's so many tax wins in this bill, Eric. This bill is going to grow our economy massively. This bill is going to give Americans probably a minimum of about $8,000, potentially more, that's going to go in their pockets. And this bill is going to give Border Patrol and ICE the tools they need and the money they need to finally get after these deportations that we can't wait to see happen. And this bill is also going to help our country with energy and finally get off of the Green New Deal and move forward with America First Energy with fossil fuels that we know work and keep the lights on. So there's a lot of great things to vote for, and there's some Republicans that you can probably not like, and who knows what'll happen in their next election. So
Yeah,
I'll just leave it at that.
It's a great point. There's so many good things, and that tax decrease, which is massive.
Yes.
And if it expires, you don't get your tax decrease, and it expires, you're going to, as Trump pointed out, you're going to have a. He said 68% increase in your taxes could be as high as that, and also the drug prices that he's going to bring down. He says 75 to 85%, that would go away. I mean, so whoever doesn't vote for that, I mean, yeah, there are things you don't. Any negotiation, you have to give up things that you want in there. You can't get everything you want, but these big ones, and these are really big ones. Can I ask you? The Senate is saying you guys, House, should stay in session until you get this thing fixed. Are you gonna break and go to your respective states without this bill passed?
My understanding is we're supposed to vote on it today. And the final holdouts, you know, these guys are the ones that supported DeSantis, and one of them even supported Nikki Haley during the 2024 election cycle. So they're not MAGA, and they're not Trump supporters. They're right now at the White House meeting with the president and the president's legislative affairs team, and trying to get these guys on board with the one big beautiful bill. And we're supposed to vote on it today, is what we have been told. So we're just waiting to hear a time. And then it will go to the Senate next, where the Senate may make changes. We don't know what they will do. And if they make changes and they pass the bill, it'll come back to the House, and then we'll have to vote on it again. So this is a lengthy process that will be annoying, and you'll see it in the news, and we'll be sick and tired of talking about it by the time the whole thing's done. And but here's what I want to get to is I want Doge cuts. I want them every day. I want them every week, because that's how you do reduce spending and reduce the scope and size of the federal government. And I want executive orders. I want to vote on these wonderful things that President Trump has been signing and codify those into law.
Well, if it doesn't pass this round, and you know, Trump's got to hit the street again, make the phone calls, whatever he's got to do, and he will, and I'm sure he will. Again, will you stay? Will the caucus stay and vote, or how long's the recess, by the way?
I have no idea. Well, according to the calendar, don't shoot me. I don't make the calendar. I have no control over it. As a matter of fact, if I made the calendar, it would look a lot different. But we are supposed to be out of session until, I think, June 2nd. The House is. Wow. So if we get our job done, though, Eric, if we pass the bill, it'll go to the Senate next week, and the Senate will do their work next week while the House is out of session.
Wow, a month. That's quite, well, maybe 3 weeks or so. Can we talk a little bit about this Jake Tapper book now? And a lot of fallout is happening with this, right? So now Jake Tapper and the reporter from Politico want to claim like they're writing a book to expose what went on during the 4 years, that they were complicit in the cover-up of Joe Biden's mental demise. Pointing fingers, now it's getting into a shooting match. Jake Tapper is now calling out Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's telling Jake Tapper to F off. What do you say to the media? I'm sure you've been interviewed by Jake Tapper before, when he can be such a hypocrite and now expect to make money off of selling a book about some of the things he is guilty of.
Yeah, I haven't been interviewed by Jake Tapper. I would definitely go on and be interviewed by Jake Tapper, but I've never been invited. So I don't know what that's all about. But either way, I think there's something bigger at play here. They covered it up. You know, I think cancer is extremely serious. My father passed away with cancer in 2021. So I have a lot of great sympathy for anyone that has cancer or anyone that loses a family member with cancer. But I think really what we're seeing is Democrats are acknowledging they have a real credibility problem with their own voters, and they screwed up really bad. They lied and lied and lied and lied and lied, and they finally got caught. And the American people know that they covered up Joe Biden's terrible health decline, his dementia, and all of it. And then they got screwed out of a Democrat primary and got forced to have to support Kamala Harris. So I think what's happening, Eric, this is my own opinion here, but a lot of times I'm usually right, is we're seeing the Democrats come out and they're fully acknowledging the cover-up of Joe Biden's horrible health and his decline and all of it, and that that is on purpose.
You were there,
and they're doing that so that they can move forward.
I'm really certain. I don't have proof, but I'm pretty darn certain that Jill Biden had a lot to say about the presidency and what was going on for those 4 years. I think some of the top lieutenants, Anthony Blinken, et cetera, had a lot to say about who was running. I don't think Joe Biden was running the country for those 8 years. And then
I don't either.
Yeah, and to use that auto pen, and the auto pen is legit. So if the staff has an idea and they like it, Joe can be off eating ice cream and they can use his signature with the auto pen. It's incredible. Who do you think was running the country the last 4 years?
It was the White House staff. I mean, we got to look at his upper level staff, chief of staff, deputy, his cabinet. Like, who were his senior advisors? Those are the people that were running the country, and there should be an investigation. I definitely want to see it. I'm hoping to see it on my committee, and we really need to look into it. And we need answers, and America deserves the answers.
I wonder if Barack Obama had any input. I mean, you think this is crazy, and I'm going to get lit up, conspiracy theorist, BS. It's not. Obama has very close contacts inside the Biden White House. So some of the same people were working in both White Houses. Of course, Barack Obama may have been pulling. We used to joke about it. He was the puppeteer to Joe's puppet. And you want to know something, MTG? It's not such a crazy conspiracy theory, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, maybe not. I think the reality is Jake Tapper and them are trying to reestablish trust with their Democrat base because they've lost it. And they're trying to acknowledge that, it was covered up. So they're trying to gain ground back. And they're trying to make it about his cancer, whereas the reality of what you're talking about is the more serious issue: is who is running the auto pen, who is running the country, and who really approved all of those pardons with Joe Biden's auto pen, because we know it wasn't him. And that's really the bigger question, and I think we deserve answers on that.
MTG, I ran out of time, and I know you have a really, really, really good policy that you're trying to get through, the Protect Children's Innocence Act. I just ran out of time, my dear. If we could do this again very soon, you can come back and talk about that. We'd really appreciate it.
I'd be glad to. Thank you, Eric.
Congressman, thank you so much.